Okay, so welcome back. Again, this is Fashayo, the Earth Mother of EarthMotherGuidance.com. It is that time of year again. I don't think I've done a video on seasonal depression for fall yet. But I want to do a video because I know I have talked to at least two sisters that are very clear on the fact that they suffer from seasonal depression. And I know I'm one of them. And I wanted to talk about it before the cold weather got in full swing. Today, in particular, well, my shirt is kind of dry now, but here you can see the water. It's rainy outside. It's really cold. It's like 53 degrees. I know it's people in places that are like, this not cold. Well, it's cold down here because I'm in the South. We're not used to this. And well, we're used to the ebb and flow. But I honestly think that melanated folks, I don't think we ever really adjust to cold weather genetically. So, but I just wanted to talk about it for a minute because it's serious. As far as I know, it seems to affect women more than men, but it's probably because I'm around more women than men, and women tend to be more vocal about how they feel. But I'm gonna just tell you what I'm doing for the season. First of all, one thing that I've started to explore for myself is some of the stuff that I feel, this is me, some of the stuff that I feel I've come to realize is not just seasonal depression. Now, some days I know fully that that's what I'm dealing with. Other days, what I've come to realize is that I'm dealing with a resistance, and I'm dealing with language that's pulling me deeper into the hole. So when I say resistance, okay, so with the fall, and I'm not going to go real deep into it because I'm going to do this in the rhythms video, but with the fall, what the earth is doing is getting rid of dead things. And then in the winter, the earth is turning in to itself, not turning in on itself in a destructive way, but turning into itself. So the fall is a time that we start to shed and get rid of things. Well, as I was talking to one of my soul sisters last night, she kept using the word mourning, that she was going to have to mourn the loss of things. She was going to have to mourn the shedding and the getting rid of things that she was kind of resistant to getting rid of. And so I'm a science head, so I went straight to, okay, well, how does mama deal with this? How does Mother Nature deal with this? She doesn't mourn the loss of the leaves. She doesn't mourn those things because she knows that there's a purpose to it. She understands that even when the leaves die and they fall to the ground, they have a purpose when they fall to the ground. That's what enriches our soil. It even gives a lot of animals shelter, that they can climb under and stay warm. And then, so I found that I had never used the word mourning, but I found resistance in using the word mourning. So I offered, maybe try to replace it with release. Even if you're attached to the word mourning at this point, change your language and eventually everything else will catch up. Your mind will catch up. Your spirit will catch up. That it's a release, and release is good. And then she and I both are very good at telling you what you should do. But sometimes when it comes to the self-work, especially in difficult areas, I think we all can find ourselves being a little resistant. So then when the winter comes, that's the time when mama turns into herself to build up from the inside, to build up energy, to do healing, to repair, to build up surplus energy. And so I know that in the past I have been resistant to that. So I've tried to busy myself with clients in that time while not busying myself on the other end with my own raggedy stuff. So when I really was honest with myself, I saw that some of my resistance was coming from me not wanting to do self-work in some rough areas of my life. And in talking to my soul sister, I found that she's the same way. we're really good with helping everybody else, but then wait, you want me to work on my own? You want me to work on my own stuff? You talking about the deep, dank, dark corners that I can mask with smiles and stuff like that during the summer, but then when it gets cold, I'm just left with myself because I'm not out as much. I'm not, I don't have on my Earth Mother Guidance face. Sometimes I'm just Keisha because it's too much to be anything else. And I'm left to deal with the things that reflect what's going on in the seasons. It's darker longer, and I'm just stuck with my own stuff. And so it's an opportunity for us to explore, especially as women, for us to explore the darkness, for us to explore those dark parts, those unseen things, that work that nobody's gonna see, nobody's gonna congratulate you for, because it's unseen. And it's just like when you're first pregnant, nobody sees that you're pregnant. In the very beginning, you may not even know that you're pregnant, but nobody sees it. And if you tell people too early, they believe you if they know you, but they can't see the work that you're doing on the inside. And then later on, of course, it starts to kind of manifest, by you seeing your womb get bigger, and eventually you have this baby come out. But it's a process. And there's a time when that baby is just in the dark. There's no light. That's how we all begin, in the dark. And the dark has been given such a negative energy, such a negative connotation. And I would invite us to explore as women, because the darkness generally reflects us, because we're the womb, we're the night, we're the ones who keep the witching hours, we're the moon. We're reflected by those murky waters, and things like that. If you have ever been to Miami during a super full moon, it is the most amazing thing in the world. Or any beach at a super full moon. It's like it looks like black ink, with this beautiful, huge moon over it, but the water is dark and it looks like black ink. But it's like being able to really see that and see the beauty in it. And we've been taught so much to be fearful of the dark. We've been taught to look at it as a negative thing, an evil thing, sinful thing, dirty, all of those kind of connotations. And as women, I would like to ask you to entertain your connection with darkness. Do you embrace it? Do you fully embrace it? Do you reject it completely? Are you scared to be in the dark? Are you scared of your own darkness? Are you scared of your own hidden side? So those are the things that, I'm kind of looking at as far as the depression. Separate my depression from my resistance, to doing the internal work, because that internal work can be a work. And even the depression part of it is still a work, because some days, especially as a mother, you don't really get to be depressed. Now, I don't say that you should negate self-care, but there are some days when we have to get up anyway. And there are some days, when we can lay in the bed and kind of roll around in our feelings. Now, one thing I would also like to offer is, when you know that you are dealing with actual depression, set a schedule for yourself. Give yourself time to lay around and cry, or not talk to anybody, or not get out of the bed if you can, or, give yourself space to really feel it and explore it. But then set like a lunch date with a girlfriend, or a phone date with somebody, or tell somebody how you feel and tell them, okay, I'm gonna go inside, I'm gonna go ahead and feel this, I'm gonna backstroke in my depression, because it's a feeling. I'm gonna backstroke in it, but I need for you to call me at so and so o'clock and keep calling me until I answer that phone. Because the trick for me has been to not make somebody accountable for my feelings, but to have a partner, somebody who's gonna check on me. So, somebody who's gonna say, okay, I hadn't seen you on Facebook. What you doing? Or I haven't heard from you on Viber, or I text you, you didn't text me back. Somebody that I always say is big and bad enough to snatch my stuff and say, where are you? Not physically, where are you? Where are you emotionally? What's going on? Do you need help? Because we don't want to let it snowball to the point that we've gotten in so deep we can't find our way out, because you can get in that place, and it's very real. It is not a white folks disease. It is not. I don't even think it's a disease. But it's not a white folks imbalance. It's not that. It's a real thing. Now, some of it, I do think it's hormonal. Some of it, I think, is a lack of vitamin D, or really just a lack of those sun foods, period, that we get so much in the summertime. But you can only do what you can do. I mean, there's no watermelon right now. One thing you can do is, if you don't have any kind of allergies or anything like that, I found it helps me also, is to make I forget what they call it, but it's basically like you take oranges, grapefruit, like lemon, lime, put it all in the blender or in your juicer, and it's like a sun juice basically. Of course, it's packed with vitamin D, but it's something about those fruits I found it really helped me. And another thing is to work with the darkness. Sometimes the resistance can be your biggest enemy. So work with it. What kind of spells or manifestations or mantras or whatever can you work on that have to do with banishment? Who do you need to let go of that you hadn't had the strength to let go? Because sometimes that depression and darkness will give you the strength to let them go, because you done had it. You in a place like, man, whatever. You just over it. Take that same energy and reroute it and use it. We're women. We cause all kinds of change. That's what we do. That's the energy that we made of. We can switch the tide. We can make something out of nothing. I mean, think about it. We take a sperm cell and an egg cell and we make a whole person. So, and we let that person hang out in our bodies, for almost a year. And then we're magnificent enough to push them out time and time and time again. And then we're able to change our body's makeup to then make milk to feed this person that we made. It's what we do. We take nothing and make it into something. So don't ever limit yourself. Even if you feel depressed, remember your power. Have a mantra already ready. Because even if you don't believe the mantra when you're saying it, your brain cannot process a lie. So your brain is going to make everything else line up with it. Now, the last thing, and not nearly the least, because some of us do have clinical depression. My mom, I don't think she'll mind me telling y'all, because it's one of her things she's very serious about. She suffered clinical depression, and she had to go get her some pills. And she was very careful with it after she came off of that first one, to take care of herself. And I think she went through it again, and it seemed like she got medication again, but she was able to get off of it. It gave her what she needed, and then she was able to get off of it. Because the other thing is that it seems like every year, and I'm not sure, I need to pay attention more, but it seems like this is the time of year when I start seeing newspaper articles. We don't even really have newspaper anymore, but news articles of like well-known sisters in the community and stuff killing themselves. And they're not doing the cry for help, kind that they swear that women do. They're like hanging themselves and stuff, and doing it in ways where they're completely alone, where they know nobody will find them. That's not a cry for help. They meant business and they were checking out. So get the help that you need. Utilize your sister circle. If you don't have a sister circle physically, like where you live, reach out on Facebook. I'm not one of those people that feels like social media is evil. It's not. It is what you make it. It's a tool. It's like a hammer isn't evil unless you bash somebody in the head with it. It could be used to bash somebody in the head with or to build a house. It's what you do with it. So reach out to somebody though. Reach out to somebody that you know is going to take you seriously. Not somebody who's going to be like, okay, and act like it ain't real, because it is. And when you get down in the depths of it, it's not a time to play. And it's not a time to have somebody who doesn't believe you and doesn't care enough about you to really, snatch your coattail and get you the help that you need if you're not able to get it for yourself. And by all means, please pay attention to these kids, because they suffer it too. And I think sometimes too it's worse on women, because a lot of us already have the ebb and flow of our cycle, that comes every month, and then you're already kind of down with that. For some of us, the hormones get all jacked. Well, imagine if you're a teenager, because being a teenager is not easy, and we need to stop acting like it is. Being a teenager is not easy, and then if you add, your cycle to it, those hormones, because they brand new to them. So they're hormones, then cycle hormones, then seasonal depression, and then if you mess around and you have a mother that's going through it and she doesn't know what she's going through, that can be a really bad thing. So we have to check on each other. Also, don't forget the new mamas that are having babies and stuff in this during this cold period, because you already can have what they call it, postpartum, coupled with this raggedy weather. I'm sorry, excuse me, mama. The weather is not raggedy. This internal turning, this weather that encourages us to turn inward, you have that, all those things coupled together. Then you have, just the regular stresses. Check on each other, please. Worst case, you don't have anybody that you know, call somebody you don't. They have hotlines for this. Now, one of my sisters, especially and in particular, she actually, her specialty, if you want to say, I guess specialty, is women that have been abused. And her website is Surviving Departure, which I need to put, I need to write all these websites down. Okay, so I need to put Surviving Departure, sorry y'all, down in the box too, because although that's her specialty, is working with women who are leaving domestic violence situations or interested in leaving domestic violence situations, she's always also really good with this kind of stuff too. So I'll put her link there too. Just reach out, y'all, seriously. Okay, so I think that's all I want to do on seasonal depression. So, okay, I'm gonna put the links down in the box. Check them out. So we got Surviving Departure for if you need somebody to reach out to specifically for abuse or depression. She ain't say nothing about depression, but she good at it, so I'm adding it to her list. And for me, just watch out for the stuff on my website, and because I do plan on doing a workshop for this literally around these seasons, to give people ways to kind of interact and check in and things like that. So I'm not sure how that's going to actually manifest, but we here to heal. That's what we do. And yeah, so I think that's it. So thank you so much for watching. Again, this is Fashayo, the Earth Mother, and I'll be back.